Welcome back, my friends, to the motorbike show that never ends. It's hello from him, hello from Sasha the Guzzy dog, and we're out in a spot that we've been before and it's changed a bit. Look at that. Wasn't here last time. I had the camera out. No, this is now a lake. There used to be a river, now there's a lake. Very windy, sunny, early spring day, evening if you like. Leaves aren't on the trees yet, they're still very brown. And the growth is still very brown. Okay, so the river has changed into a lake. And what has my motorbike changed into? Well, it's not a Guzzy anymore. Well, not tonight it's not. There we go. As Monty Python would say, now for something completely different. Yep, you got it right. It's a Himalayan or Himalayan 450. Brand spanking new. There's no second-hand ones available, obviously. They've only been in the country a couple of months. And this one happens to be mine. I had to drive 1,100 kilometers to pick it up and 1,100 kilometers back. You can work that out is in miles if you wish, but it's a bloody long way. So yeah, she's a box standard 452 Himalayan. No fancy doodads on it as yet. I'll ride it a bit first and see what I think we need. There's loads of videos on the internet about these bikes, so I can't really tell you anything that you won't get from them, except to say that it's a lot more manageable than the big Tiger. A lot more manageable, but a lot less power. I'm noticing immediately I've got to change down a lot. The engine will not lug like the bigger bikes will, because these will. And that's going to take a bit of getting used to be on such a small bike. Again, I haven't ridden a bike this small full time for a long time. But we'll see how she goes. I got it initially because I want to do more gravel roads. I want to go up the Yukon and try them out. I don't really think the Tiger's the right bike for me. Tiger's a fantastic bike, but it's a big heavy bike and I'm getting on in years, and I'm going to find this bike a lot easier to handle, and it'll slow me down as well because I tend to ride too fast when I'm on the big bike. So I think I'll be selling the big Tiger and concentrating on this 450 Himalayan. We'll see how it goes. I'll just show you around. There's not really much to see that you haven't seen already. One of the thought processes for buying this bike was it comes more or less equipped with what I want. It's got a center stand on it, which is important, for servicing the chain and removing the rear wheel. The 21-inch front wheel, which goes over the bumps better and it's going to handle the gravel okay. Another bike that I really liked was the Triumph 400 Scrambler, but that bike has got a smaller front wheel. It's got a 19-inch front wheel. Doesn't have a center stand. One is not available at the moment. The exhaust would make it difficult to fit panniers on it, and it wouldn't have the front crash bars, which I think are going to be extremely useful for putting bags on there. So, and the other bike, of course, would be the Chinese Yellow Peril, the CFM, what is it, CF Moto 450, but I would never buy a Chinese bike. And it's a political, social thing, and it just does not appeal to me, and I just would not feel right riding one of those. I rather support a regime like India, although it's not perfect. It's certainly a lot better than communist China. I won't say any more. But anyways, the Royal Enfield, what are my initial impressions are, it's a very nice bike. It's very easy to handle. At slow speed, you can just plod around, a space like this, and it just plods like a trials bike. A little higher geared than a trials bike, obviously, but for slow speed maneuverability, I think it's going to be excellent. The seat is I'm going to have to adjust the seat. It's rather low for me at the moment. I think yes, you can adjust it. I'm going to lift it up, but it will have my bead rider cover, and it will have the sheepskin as well on, probably for long distance. The brakes seem to be very good. The back brake is very powerful, so that'll be handy on dirt if you want to lock her up and spin around a corner. I chose the tubeless model. Ordered it specially. It's got the tubeless spoked wheels. Now the spokes are on the outside of the rim, so you can get a good air seal. I think that's important. I think it's safer. If you ever had a very bad puncture on the front and had a rapid deflation and got into a tank slapper, you know what that feels like, and it's not very bloody pleasant, let me tell you. Not only that, but fixing punctures at the side of the road, as long as they're simple punctures, it's going to be a lot easier. You just pump the tyre back up, and away you go. You haven't got to spoon the tyre off and then patch a tube or put a new tube in. I will carry tubes with me in case of a bad puncture that the tyre won't hold air. But that's very much a belt and braces approach to it all. Other things, I think I'm going to have to put some bar risers on. They're okay for road riding, but any off-road standing upright, I think I'm going to leave an inch or two higher to make it a lot better. Mirrors aren't too bad actually, cheap and cheerful mirrors. They seem to work pretty good. The tyres are these Indian Seat tyres, which in real life are actually slightly more open than they look on all the videos. So now I can put my finger in there, full width of my finger, well, 2/3 the width of my finger, width of my little finger, so not too bad. It'd be good on dry gravel and on the highway, but the jury is out when it comes to slippy, slimy gravel that's had calcium on it or mud. I think we're going to have to put something a bit more knobby on. It's chain drive, which of course I don't like all that much, but what other choice do you get? You don't. But yeah, all in all, I like it. It's got a fairly large tank. I think it's 19 litres, so it should go fair ways. I'm restricted to the RPMs I can do at the moment. I'm keeping her under 4,000 RPM for a while, and it's indicating over 90 miles to the gallon, which is phenomenal. I don't suppose I'll achieve that all the time, but just sort of shows the capability of the bike, how much further you can go for a given amount of petrol or gasoline. And also it runs on regular fuel, which is important. Up north you don't always get premium fuel, and premium fuel can be 20 or 30 cents a litre more expensive than the regular. So that adds up on a long trip, and if you compare it to the trip I did last year on the El Dorado, I was getting around 36-38 miles to the gallon on premium. So that was quite an expensive trip when it came to fuel costs. This bike I expect to get at least double the mileage per gallon, at least double. I may not be able to ride quite as fast, but according to the read-ups I've checked out, This bike should be able to cruise at 110 kilometers an hour, 120, which will keep up with the majority of the traffic around here, which is important because you don't want to be wobbling around in the gutter while everybody tries to knock you off the road. You need a bike that'll keep up, and I think it will. It's got a very good exhaust on it, I think. The exhaust is nice and compact, and it leaves quite a bit of room to get a pannier in there that won't melt on the exhaust. I think that's pretty good. The footrests are rubber mounted, which I think is an excellent idea. You can see here the rubber mounting, which makes them sort of remote to the frame. Although I haven't had it over 4,000 RPM, there's no vibration at all that I can feel. Excuse me. So yeah, all in all, very pleased with her. It is, I would say, what's the Big Tiger? The Big Tiger is supposed to be about 250 kilograms, and this one's I think it's just under 200 kilograms. So you got 50 kilograms of weight, which is about 100 weight, 8 stone, and you can certainly feel that. This it's quite a large bike. I was amazed at how large it was physically, but it's not heavy, and it seems to be very well balanced. It's got a full tank of fuel at the moment. Excuse me, and doesn't feel ungainly, feels very good. I'm going to have to do something about the side stand. The side stand is a little short, which I think everybody knows, so I'm going to be welding a piece of aluminum on the foot of the side stand. It's not a big deal for me. You could even bolt a hockey puck on the bottom or something like that. It's not a great deal. I don't know what the lights are like. I haven't ridden it in the dark yet. The screen is quite small. It just keeps the wind from hitting you in the chest. It hits you sort of upper chest, neck area. It's a quite clean air, really. One thing about riding the Guzzi last year, I did appreciate the clean air, because she doesn't have a fairing at all. A screen at all. So there we go. Initial impressions are very good. I like it. Good value for the money. I wish these had been available when I was thinking of buying the Big Tiger. I thought buying a Big Tiger would be the ultimate. Well, it is, and it isn't. If you're a young fella in your 20s, 30s, 40s, you can throw the big bike around. It's fantastic. It's great. But for me, I'm old and crippled up, and although I can handle the Big Tiger, I'm always very, very careful that I don't rick my back, because if I do, I'm going to be in serious trouble, because I've got a lot of back injuries over the years with work and what have you. So having a lighter, smaller bike is going to be very good for me. I think it's going to mean I'm going to feel more like riding and getting out and going to places. And so I'll pass the Big Tiger on to somebody who can appreciate its qualities. The performance on those is phenomenal. It's 148 horsepower rocket ship, basically, that you can do some light dirt riding, some gravel riding on. It's a great bike, but it's just a little bit too much for this decrepit old man. So I'll pass it on to somebody who can appreciate it. So there we go. Things have changed. We're looking at a different adventure bike this year. I will continue to ride the Eldo, but I'll ride it closer to home. Really enjoy riding that bike. It's a completely different experience to this. This is something I'm going to have to get used to again. It's a long time since I've ridden a bike this small. I've got to remember to be in the right gear at the right time, because it won't lug out like the bigger bikes will, but just keep her spinning, should be fine. So yeah, I'm going to run her in carefully, and won't overdo it. And while I'm at it, I'll be thinking about what accessories to put on it, thinking about some lower engine crash guards. Thinking about a pannier system. If I was starting afresh, I would put a rackless pannier system on, but I've got 2 or 3 sets of soft bags, so I want to try to utilize them. But I also want to get them into the bike as close as possible, so I might experiment with a rackless system using the bits and pieces that I've got. So stay tuned for that. I'll probably make a right cock up of that, but anyway, we'll give it a go. So there we are. It is early April 2025. New bike on the horizon. New scenery to look at, a lake instead of a river. Hopefully it takes some getting used to. Wind is quite strong. I don't know if they've given this thing a name yet, this lake. Probably name it after some useless politician. Anyway. Mustn't grumble. We're still here, so we've got a summer coming. I'm looking forward to doing a fair bit of riding and burn some gas through this old girl, and see how she goes. So until next time, take care of yourselves, look after one another, enjoy your riding. If you're in the northern hemisphere, summer's coming, make the most of it. And so until next time, it's goodbye from him, and it's goodbye from Sasha the Guzzy dog. Keep your shiny side up, rubber side down. Until we meet again, goodbye.